Alright. 8. Number 8. Well, actually, it's number 9, I guess. Continue. Alright. Me and the others having to, set up for the Higurashi festival or something invited me along, but I refused. Of course I did. How could they be taking it easy and setting up for a festival in this situation? Mion had a lot of nerve, unlike me. The first thing I did when I got back was take a shower. Not because I wanted to wash off sweat. It was because I wanted to be even calmer. I already understood this, but killing that man would be so very easy. The real hard thing would be not getting arrested for it, so we could, get our peaceful days back. As I thought about it, I realized that it wasn't easy. Japanese police force have the highest success rate, arrest rate in the world. I would need to deceitfully pull off a perfect crime, and it couldn't be a half-hearted attempt. Still, it wasn't 100%. Even the best police force in the world couldn't have a 100% success rate. I've read a lot of articles of trials people brought up in false charging. They do a lot to determine whether they really a false accusation. Figuring out who the real criminal is usually out of the question. And that meant perfect crimes did exist. And perfect crimes was sort of like works of art. You could even be respected and revered. You just had to look at the inundation of mystery novels everywhere throughout history. They dealt with all sorts of difficult incidences involving secret rooms and alibis and stuff, but they all showed one thing. They wanted to show the beauty of a perfect crime. Once a perfect crime if it gets cool at the end. I think it's more of like fun of unwrapping the little puzzle. Because there's like always enough clues to grasp who it was. There was something divine in the flawlessness of the word perfect. Yes, perfect crimes were skills of the gods. And in that sense, the serial freak deaths of they were calling the curse of Orishida-sama, I understood them. I understood they must be the works of the gods. Each of them appeared to have been resolved, but they couldn't stop from happening every year. Yeah, skills belonging only to gods. Those are perfect crimes. And I would be setting up my own crime before Orishida-sama's series of perfect crimes 4 years in the running. If I were to put it boldly, I was challenging a god. Foolhardiness would be needed to make the decision, but it needed to be calm, cool, colder than ice to put that plan together. Killing me like a flame, but as sympathetic as ice. Starting now, I need to retain both of those ideas within me. Molding my crime after a mystery novel wasn't actually a bad thing to focus on. Sometimes kidnapping involving disturbing original methods that made it into the newspaper were used as a basis for novels after the person was arrested. Stuff like that made it into the news. Day and night, for a very long time, mystery novel authors polish and refine their most fantastic artistic crimes. Imitating that could be a shortcut to playing the perfect crime in a short period of time. Of course, I haven't read enough mystery novels to act all high and mighty about them. The one who really likes mystery novels was my mom. She read every well-known mystery novel from overseas from past and present. Every time she watched mystery shows, she would always criticize them for having cheap tricks being poorly thought out. I wonder what the perfect crime would mean to her. You're gonna ask her? What do you think? What do I think the most well-done perfect crime is in all the mystery novels I've read? Yeah, well, you read quite a lot of them, right? I figured you might know a lot about them. It's more fun to read them than to find out. If I told you all the tricks are at the bat, there would be no fun anymore. It wasn't like I was asking for my own amusement. She was deflecting the question, so I would somehow but a rough version drew out an answer. Of course, Agatha's, Christine's, and the three, and then there were none. Is my was my top recommendation. And Murder on the Orient Express used some great bold tricks too. Of course, I didn't see it coming at all. I didn't want to know which novels you liked. I wanted to know what are the tricks that made you the most surprised. If it was really a perfect trick, the detectives wouldn't be able to solve the case though. That was true. Then there'd be no point. Mystery novels are enjoyable because of the process of the mysteries getting solved. If it was unsolvable, it wouldn't be a very good topic for a novel. I get it. Yeah, you're right. If the main character can't solve it, it wouldn't be much of a story, huh? Is that being too simplistic? A mystery novel was basically a game. They were written so that you can get to the goal, so that you could solve them. This is a mystery novel thingy as well, isn't it? Hmm. But I kinda knew something so optimistic. It needed to be the be-all end-all of all tricks, so that we could without a doubt return to our old lives. By the way, Kichi, do you understand that truly perfect crimes don't even become stories? Mom looked at me intellectually and grinned impishly. I'd never gone to read it, but apparently one time a long time ago, Mom had written her own mystery novel and submitted it for some mystery novel awards. Apparently she was really into it. Don't ever become stories. What do you mean? Kichi, what are the um, essentials parts of a story? A beginning, a middle, and an end. Oh, correct. The beginning, of course, is especially important. If there is no beginning, then the story never starts. Well, yeah, there's nothing happens. Nothing would begin. Right. Nothing happened, so there wouldn't even be an incident. Detectives wouldn't be called, so there wouldn't be any mystery. There would be no mystery, so there would be no solution. In other words, it would be the ultimate perfect crime. Wait a second. Could you explain that again? My mom just told me something absurd, and she was saying it so smoothly too, so I kind of tuned her out, but she said something extremely important just now. It's not really that difficult to understand. The incident just has to never come to light, that's all. Just has to never come to light. For example, how about this? Say there's an old man living deep in the woods no one goes into. Uh-huh. And one day the old man gets killed by an axe. And, let's say the criminal was the old man's son. He went to the old man's house and they were drinking together. But they got into a fight and he killed him. One extremely cheap plot. It's an impulsive crime without a bit of planning. It was far from a perfect crime. But Kichi, the house was really deep in the forest. So deep in the mountains that nobody would go out that far. And his son would go back to town and say that the old man was doing fine. What about that as a perfect crime? Kichi, this incident would only begin when it was found out that the old man was killed. If nobody ever visits the old man after that, that beginning would never occur. The beginning would never occur. So basically the story wouldn't start. The incident wouldn't come to light. And they wouldn't call in detectives. And nobody would be suspicious in the first place, so there'd be no mystery. They would think the old man was still living by himself deep in the woods. And the old man's face would appear in the sky, and that would be it. Something like that, you know? That, that's amazing. That's a pretty great trick. Trick? But it wouldn't be a novel. Mystery novels are for entertainment after all. They can't be instruction manuals for perfect crimes. I was trying hard to talk cheerfully to fool her, but inside I was excited. Special tools, strange geography, mysterious drugs, traps involved, being huge sums of cash. None of them were needed for perfect crimes. The important thing was that there wasn't a beginning. As long as the incident didn't come to light, it would be fine. Speaking broadly, if I could kill him without anyone finding out, and dispose of the corpse somewhere no one could find, it would basically already be a perfect crime. Of course, if someone often vanished one day, all of a sudden people would get suspicious. But he already did that once before, didn't he? But that didn't apply to this man. Last year after their aunt died, he ran away from the village in fear of Orishida-sama. When the night of Higurashi came again, round again, everyone would have to think that he ran away in fear again. I mean, I'd be living with a lover of his in town. No matter what it felt like when he vanished, no one would be suspicious. People hated him after all. No one would care where he went if he disappeared. When I thought about it like that, it got easier and easier to imagine killing him. There's no point in thinking inside my house anymore. Hmm? I getting my bike out of the garage. But now it didn't matter where I was going. I just rode through the wind, trying to calm my excitement by feeling the cool air on my body. Without killing how I do it, what time and how to dispose of the corpse. If I just had those 4 things, I could get a good plan going. I was so surprised at how little there was to decide that I shivered. I'd been completely prepared to build this humongous plan over a long period of time, but if I could just get these little things in order, I could put it into motion. Today was Saturday. I would have to kill him on the night of Higurashi. So as long as I was standing in for Arishida-sama, I had 24 hours remaining. So Toko, just hang in there for 24 more hours. I can't even imagine having to suffer through even more, but please, hold out for a little longer. I know you can't even last a second, I know that, but please just hold out. Your Nini will save you for sure. Outside it was still early, enough for the cicadas to be crying. Early afternoon, evening was still a long way off. I looked at the sky at some point, it had gone cloudy. Come to think of it, as I left the house I heard on the TV that the weather forecast was calling for a chance of rain on Sunday. The sky was the colour of lead. If I heard a little bit of thunder, I would definitely have expected a sudden evening shower. My first destination was school. Before explaining why I was going there, I needed to explain what method of killing that man I had decided upon. I decided that the most suitable method of death, the one I needed to give him, was the same as last year's curse, the same as the punishment their aunt had received, being beaten to death. Wouldn't beating him to death be somewhat unreliable? You may think that stabbing him with a blade would be more reliable, but this was something I had chosen after a lot of thought. You just need to think realistically. The law, it prohibits carrying any blade longer than 10 centimeters, I think. So the blades available to me, though long enough, were limited to things shorter than a ruler. You can probably understand how tricky it would be with such a short reach to go up and against an opponent that might fight back. In that case, using a weapon with reach would be far more effective. It might not have the same precision, but you just had to hit the guy until you killed him. Both options resulted in death. With that settled, what is the weapon with the most terrifying force behind it that's also easy to carry around? By this point, you should immediately think of a metal baseball bat. I don't need to explain it how terrifying a metal baseball bat can be as a weapon. Of special note is the fact that you can carry one around in broad daylight and not be thought of as suspicious. Just those 2 points would have been enough to choose a metal bat for my weapon, but there was one more reason for choosing a metal bat in particular. I'll speak about it later. After school that Saturday, my classmates were still having fun playing in the schoolyard. I got used to Toshi's bat. I could show up there, and it would be the same as always. You know what you would think I'm suspicious? Getting my hands on the weapon without looking suspicious was actually a factor I couldn't ignore. I didn't normally play baseball, so if I went to a sports store looking for a metal bat, it would definitely be suspicious. I can't let there be a beginning to the story, so I need to be really careful even about that. That left school. At a location at which my appearance wouldn't be suspicious, I would acquire the weapon. Ba-ba-da-ba. I checked inside the classroom though, through the window, but of course there was nobody there. The only student who would stay in there were me and the others when doing club activities. Without us, the school after school was just an empty unused room. Alright. Without glancing around nervously, as I just gone to guess something, I'd forgotten, I casually went into the entrance. Looks like the teacher was busy with paperwork in the teacher's lounge. I didn't see her in the hallway. Naturally, yet quickly as a shadow, I would enter the classroom. The empty room was full of a strange, stagnant air that you couldn't feel normally. An empty classroom with nobody here. Maybe while nobody was here, the desks creep about on their own accord, licking the floor clean of dirt. If I just suddenly stepped into a place like that, would the desk surprise fly at me, crush my bones and eat me alive? That's ridiculous. I felt regret at wasting valuable time thinking on such stupid illusions. The students' lockers were lined up in the back of the classroom. I wonder what that means. Why do you say that? The one I was looking for wasn't my own. Maybe it doesn't have a meaning and you just randomly said it. Maybe it does have a meaning. I just don't know what it is yet. It was a forbidden locker, one I'd accidentally discovered one day. Is it Satoshi's? Here it is, Hojo. This has to be it. If one person has a locker, then why would only Satoko have two? I'd made a fuss about it once. After that I learned it was Satoshi's locker, and he had the same last name as her. But of course, even though it was a locker for a student no longer here, looking inside it was still a shameless act. But one time I let my curiosity get the better of me and took a peek inside. Inside it was an average worthless. At the time hadn't been interested, so until now I'd forgotten what had been in it. But now I dare to say, it awakened. I remembered the thing that had been there. What a metal bat. Scrape. The door opened. I opened the locker, and a stench of mold and sweat wafted out like a gym storehouse that hadn't been cleaned in a while. My face puckered up at the stench, but I looked for it. Yes. Satoshi was on the coach's baseball team. Inside the locker was himself a fighter uniform, and it, the one Satoshi used, the metal bat. Yes, this was the reason I wanted to choose this bat. The murder weapon would be carried out by me, but this wasn't originally my role. It was Satoshi's. But I would stand in for him and call myself Satoko's Nini. It was one of the rules for standing in for him. I reached for the bat and grasped at it firmly. It was light, and yet its tip had enough heft in it, enough to easily imagine the horror if I brought it down with all my might. Satoshi, I'll give you one last chance to save your sister. Lend me your strength. You're a coward, but I'll stand up in for you. So if you still care even a little bit about her, you will lend me your strength. There is no more suitable weapon in the world for putting that man to death than your bat. Now, I just need to figure out where to hide it. Tomorrow before the act, I would just stop by the school and grab it. Because I couldn't ignore the possibility somebody would see me bringing it home and think it was strange. But if I left it here, wouldn't that be a problem? But tomorrow was Sunday. Not only that, it was the day of the biggest festival in the whole village. Nobody would be coming to school. I left out the entrance and went over to a construction vehicle parked nearby. We'd been warned by our teacher not to touch it, just for laughs, so none of the kids would come near the vehicle earlier, either. They wouldn't, because if she found out they touched it, they would be in huge trouble. I quietly hid it, in the shadows of the vehicle. The chances of somebody operating the vehicle tomorrow were slim to none, because tomorrow was Sunday. Government workers had the day off, and from what my classmate had said, the thing had been left here for years now. Machines that hadn't moved in years. You can't just suddenly start them up again, so it's almost definitely fine in this case. The sunlight was piercing hot. My head grew faint for a moment. Had the heat been this harsh for the entire day? A moment of dull thought like this was a moment of carelessness. I gave myself a couple hits in the head and looked around warily. Okay, next how to dispose of the corpse. Higurashi. When they cry. Corpse. Disposing of the corpse. The ultimate way to not create a beginning was to not let the corpse be found. It was even more important than killing him. Eh? Oh wait. Thinking on it vaguely, the first thing that came to mind was a swamp. Swamp. Onigaushi, the dreadful bottomless swamp, revered even now, has appeared in the legends of Onigaushi village. It's a swamp called Onigaushi was here first, and then the village took its name to become Onigaushi village. Though in other words, this swamp was the origin of Onigaushi village. No one, no matter who it was, would float back to the surface of this bottomless swamp. Everyone would be swallowed down into the land of the demons below the earth. Well, that's just not true, actually. Because after the wife went in there, the police conducted a search of the swamp, and they didn't find her body, meaning they went inside the swamp most likely. So, yeah. This was how the story went. Like, unless they like drained it or something, I don't know. Actually, they probably did try to drain it. but then the swamp wouldn't be bottomless, so they would have said someone tried to drain it, so I guess they didn't do that? If I was trying to copy Orishida-sama's curse then, I felt that theory demanded I discard the remains and the weapons into the swamp. But they may have said it's bottomless, but I didn't actually know. And people say large creatures like humans produce a lot of gas when they rot, granting a lot of buoyancy. That's why using fairly heavy weapons to hold them down didn't work. Come to think of it, with a curse this year, well, alas, Rikuchan's mother drowned herself in the swamp. Isn't that like why in the mafia movies they put like cement blocks on your legs? And then they actually I've never actually seen that happen, but I've seen it in skits. I just don't watch mafia movies, so that maybe that's the reason why. I don't know. So like, yeah, Rikuchan's mother drowned herself in the swamp, and the criminal behind the dismemberment that went missing the year of the first curse too, it was rumored he tried to discard the body in the swamp and accidentally drowned in it. I never heard of the corpse coming back up or them finding it. Then, shouldn't I discard the corpse there too? I could discard the weapon there, and then for example, if her uncle came out on a motorcycle and attacked me, it would be convenient to give her the bike too. Neither Satoka's uncle generally used a motorcycle for transport. But as for the corpse... Do you even know who her uncle is? Like, I know we saw that old man, but... Do you remember what he looks like exactly? Like, you only saw him one time. You need to see like a lot of people that day. After a lot of worrying, I decided not to discard the corpse in the swamp. The drowning, suicide, and accident were both rumors. Nobody knew they would actually happen. There were no lack of false rumors about the drowning suicide anyway, and it was possible the murderer hadn't drowned there and was still on the run. That meant nobody had actually confirmed a corpse being dropped in there and then not coming back up. Maybe the Onigashima swamp only eats bodies, that could also be a thing. Then what would I do with the body? I thought like dead bodies. I thought it might be interesting to go with the first incident, cut him up into pieces and hide him, but the preparation and work with dismembering human would be difficult given the amount of time I had. Indeed. You don't also have the tools, I don't think so. I don't think a bath's really gonna cut it. Yeah, it's not gonna cut it. Exactly. With that out of the question, I arrived at the conclusion to go with the more orthodox method of burying the body. Then, where would I bury it? Was a question related to where I would kill him. Of course I wanted to keep my time in proximity to the body at minimum. With that in mind, I would want to dig the hole to dump the body in beforehand, and to make the location of the act and the whole goes together. The choice of where to plan the crime that I needed to be absolutely careful and go thorough with. It had to be somewhere nobody would witness it, and a place with hiding places for a sneak attack. I could dig a hole for the body right there. I got all the possibilities in my head of the various destinations our uncle would head to from Satoka's house. I imagined a map of the area in my head. When I found a place for those conditions so easy it was unbelievable. A bit of a back road that went through the woods. I didn't think her uncle would go deep into the woods of Yakushi on a whim. If he was going somewhere, he would pass through these woods first. Nobody used these back roads anyway, unless they had something to do with Satoka's house or on or one or two other places. This path was fantastically ideal for a few people since a few people used it. I would wait for him in the woods. Would an ambush actually be possible? I went into the trees and tried hiding himself in a few places. It was extremely quiet. My senses could be sharpened here to their maximum amount. I didn't know when he would come, but said, wait right here for Satoka's uncle. I actually had some trouble coming to that decision. The question arose of whether I should somehow call the man out. Was there a risk I'd be taking by luring him here? The man made Satoko do all the shopping and errands. He seldom left on his own business. He wouldn't leave unless I worked out a plan to force him to come, would he? That was the question. Tomorrow was the Higurashi festival. Would he go for the festival, or would he stay inside? If he stayed inside, would I have to strike him at his house? That's right. Would he make Satoko go to the festival? Satoko would go to the festival, meanwhile I would call the man. This is the Akinomiya police station. We have the young lady from your house, could you come and pick her up immediately? It didn't even have to be the police. This is the clinic. The young lady from your house has been injured. Please come and pick her up. Yes, that would work too. I came to the police to the hospital, told him to pick him up and run him. He would rush there, trying to figure out what's going on, wouldn't he? And just the other day, he was visited by a probation officer. He wouldn't suddenly grumble about having to get his niece and not go for it. It would look like child neglect. The man had no skill useful around the house. To Satoko, his slave, was an essential part of his daily life. Conclusion. If he went to the festival, I would attack him here on his way back. If he didn't, I would lure him out by the phone. If luring him out by the phone was my first step, I needed to be sure Satoko would go to the festival leaving the house. It would be convenient if I could make Mion take Satoko to the festival. She said her aunt was a, district welfare officer. In other words, an ally to the probation officer. Somehow, excited Mion to take Satoko to the festival with her. While being who she was, she would probably use that fact and get her there. Okay, nice. Satoko should just take a break and have fun at the festival like everyone else whilst I'm committing murder. We should have a good time reminiscing on our former peaceful days, and once you went back home, everything would be over. Yeah, that would be the best outcome. With that decided, I need to dig a hole somewhere in the woods to hide the body, so it wouldn't stand out so it wouldn't be found. Some places nobody would see me while I was completely exposed as I buried the corpse. I had wanted it to be closer to the scene of the crime, but it naturally grew farther away. Deep in the bosom of the black forest, the voices of the Higurashi were the only sounds here, informing me that people shouldn't indiscriminately set foot in this place. Digging a hole, huh? Digging a hole with so many tree roots crawling around the ground would be far more difficult than I'd envisioned. I snuck that gardening spade out here in my bag, but that wouldn't be enough. Still, as I looked into various approaches, I managed to find a place I could dig into. Before I'd bring a real shovel from the storehouse at home, I'd managed to do with that. I wondered how big a hole would have to be to fit a human all the way into it. I'd probably have to dig pretty deep down, but if I was a slipshod in those efforts, I'd let a beginning occur. I absolutely couldn't allow that. Use any amount of time you need to. I mustn't spare any effort to utterly erase him. I glanced at my wristwatch. It was a little past 6. This was probably all I could do here for today. Also, the murder's tomorrow. Okay, not a lot of time. I guess that's the next part. I really wanted to dig the hole in advance tonight, even if it got dark out, but Mom would be upset if I stayed out that late. We're gonna stay out late tomorrow though, if we're gonna finish it and also kill him. It wouldn't be a good idea to come out as suspicious to my parents, mostly because of festival's day. I need to go back home and give Mom a call soon. I need to get her to promise Satoko to take us by tonight. After that, today would be done. Would it be though? Was this really everything I could do to prepare right now? I decided where to kill him, decided how to kill him. I decided, of course, how to dispose of the body. I didn't decide on a time, but I would play that by ear. And I didn't have a way to decide that. Was that really all? Was this really all? Alright? Have I overlooked anything? Would this go as I planned? After all, this worry started welling up one after the other. It was only natural I'd be anxious. This would be the first and last job of my lifetime. I could not allow failure, and I had no experience. This was my first time. I didn't have the know-how, the knack, so it was only natural to be anxious. The dark clouds of unease told me doing nothing would be the easiest way, a truly pathetic suggestion this late in the game. Have you forgotten how miserable Satoko looked? From the outside, it may have looked like I was resolute, but deep in my heart, my knees were shaking loudly. I never actually won a single fight to my satisfaction. Did I really kill someone? I may have been planning an ambush, but Manny was far larger and older than me. He had a scary face and he looked like he was well accustomed to fighting. Could I have all the pieces before me, and after the murder were perfectly planned, or was the actual murder the important part? What unsettled me the most? All my preparation of and all my perfectly concealed machinations, if I didn't successfully murder him, they amounted to nothing. Damn it! After coming this far, you pathetic Kichimabara, if you start to have those these kind of second thoughts, your ulterior motive will be obvious. Let's go home and calm your mind. Tomorrow will be a juncture in your life, the likes of which graduation, employment, marriage, and childbirth couldn't even hold a candle to. A day of murder, to kill someone for someone else's sake. With that day behind us, we would take it back again. Those mild spring-like days we never thought would stop. Those peaceful, safe, fun times. I pedaled my bike hard to get back home. I felt somehow uneasy, like my body and soul weren't in alignment. A subtle shift between where the tips of my hands and the feet really were, and where I felt them to be. My vision was a little distant and narrow, as if the great barrier I risked my future life on had nothing to do with me. An unreal sensation. How could I put it? Everything was so far away. Fine. Feel your unease permeate you, Kichimabara. If that will, I turn your timidity into timidity into maculationist and allow you to act with greater caution. Timidity, I don't know. And it's actually an important emotion to feel, is it? The feeling I had never went away that night. Home. It was the first time I'd been calling Mion's house. I searched for her number in the phone book the school gave me, then dialed a short number, the kind unique to a remote place. It was around dinner time. She'd probably be at home. Just as I started to think nobody would respond, somebody finally picked up the receiver. Oh, this is Shinozaki. I'm sorry for calling you so late at night. Is this Mion? Huh? May I ask who's calling? It's me, Kichi. Ki-chan. It's pretty late. What's up? She seemed to be in a really good mood, and she drew her syllabuses out. Right, it's the night before tomorrow's festival, so she's probably with her family having some drinks. Sorry for the late call. Do you have some time right now? Sure, what is it? It's about Satoko. I heard her draw in a small breath on the other end. Satoko, she's in a pretty bad spot. I hope she's okay. The scent of the sake had completely disappeared from her voice. She can't be okay. You saw her too, didn't you? What she was like? She was completely worn out from all the abuse. We failed her all this time and now she's become like that. We didn't fail her. Everyone tried their hardest to help her. But we didn't come up with anything, and we couldn't save her. In the end, we couldn't do anything about it, and now she's become like that. I guess you're right. All I did was watch after all. So well, at least... Couldn't we at least let her have fun for one night? Huh? Let her have fun? She's been battered so lately, you understand. That's why I want you to take her to the Higurashi festival tomorrow. I don't mind, but why? Why? I want you to give her a breather, at least for the festival night, you know. Even if it's just one night, if she gets away from her evil uncle, then I think she'll be happy, even if it's only for a little while. Yes, but why? Why? Why what? I was having a bit of difficulty understanding what Mion was asking me. Why? Well, I mean, why don't you bring her, Ki-chan? Why did you ask me to do it? Mion was, persistent about odd things. No, maybe it'd be better if she say she was sharp. Well, I actually have something to do tomorrow. I can't make it to the festival, so I wanted you to take Satoko there for me. Something to do? It's nothing major. I'll probably finish quickly, but I might not be able to meet up with you all tomorrow. Hey Mion, could I leave Satoko to you just for tomorrow night? Mion took a long time to give a reply. I got the feeling that Mion had been acting weird for a while now, like she was flustered by emotions or something. No. Huh? Was that a sob? Mian? Are you crying? I said no, I don't want to. I don't want you to push this onto someone like me. I'm not trying to push anything onto you. It's just for tomorrow night. That was a lie. What? Yeah, what was she talking about? Saying it's just for the night of watching Higurashi, and then it was forever. Liar. Ick. But I guess we're even, huh? I couldn't keep the promise I made with you. I left you alone all this time. I have no idea what to say to that. You was clearly now talking to someone other than me. What promise? I didn't know who. All I could do was listen to her in a daze. You know I came back after that, and now you called me again to push her onto me. You're so unfair. Ick. Hey, you're Satoshi-kun, aren't you? Mion, what are you talking about? When I said her name, whatever spell was on Mion was released. I'm sorry, it's nothing. It's just that I got a phone call a lot like this you're making now a long time ago. Was it from Satoshi? Mion didn't answer. All I could hear was sobs coming from the receiver. Sorry, I think I'm getting a little tipsy. I got all weirdly emotional. Sorry, I probably scared you. I have no idea how it happened, but I was pretty sure that last year on this very day, Satoshi had called Mion and told her to bring Satoko to the festival. And when she asked when she asked why he needed her to do it, he replied the same way I did. Satoshi didn't go to the festival, did he? Yeah. He said he had something to do and he couldn't make it, and he told me to take Satoko there in his place. At the time Satoshi said it, too, didn't he? Did I give Satoko to you? Yeah, he did. Just for tomorrow night. The way you said it was just like how he did. I just got a little upset, caught up in a memory and all. I didn't expect this. Satoshi had given her the exact same phone call 1 year ago today. Mion kept going after that that he was lying. That he told her it would only be for the night of the festival. I get it. A few days later, Satoshi disappeared. Disappeared might have been a rather vague way to put it. Whether he ran away or not, Satoshi left, abandoning Satoko. Promise. What promise about Satoko? Like keeping her safe? Because you said you left her alone. Yes. You didn't transfer or run away from home. He didn't transfer or run away from home, he disappeared. And then an idea more indistinct than even fog crossed my mind. Satoshi made the exact phone call as me last year. Why would Satoshi make the exact phone call? If, in the truest sense, he really made this phone call, the same way that I am right now, then the incident where their aunt had been pinned to death, could it be? Was Satoshi? Huh? What was that? Last year, Satoko had been constantly abused by her uncle's wife, their aunt too. Her aunt abused her the most, and on that night, in the name of Orishida-sama's curse, she was taken from this world. If I thought about that, everything made perfect sense, didn't it? Last night, Satoko's uncle was beaten to death, wasn't she? Wouldn't it be impossible for Satoshi to have... No, but that would mean... But then Satoshi was a coward who abandoned Satoko and ran away, wasn't he? How could Satoshi resolve himself to kill a person to save Satoko? It was unthinkable. I actually considered that as well. Though it would be me to Satoshi. A few days later he disappeared. On Satoko's birthday. Aren't I basically confessing that I'm going to kill her uncle? When I first heard it, I flew into a fit of rage, like, why would I value conclude that just because it's the same phone call? What a cruel day to have run away on. But, now that I thought about it like this, the story changes completely. Satoshi had probably even less calm than I was now. He was her big brother, related by blood, watching his little sister be abused day in and day out. Maybe that's why he couldn't keep his calm. And that was why the corpse of their aunt, beaten to death, was so easily discovered. Satoshi lost himself in his anger and hadn't hidden the corpse. He, permitted a beginning to occur. The police conducted a full-blown investigation. It was easy to imagine they wouldn't take a long time to pin down Satoshi as the culprit. Satoshi, he wished for a return to the peaceful days with Satoko, and though he achieved it for a time, he had been steadily driven into a corner, and then he wanted to at least hold out until Satoko's birthday, but finally they nailed him. At the time, Satoshi had been carrying the savings he had amassed to buy Satoko a giant stuffed animal for a birthday present. He would buy the stuffed animal as a gift and then get caught, or he would use the money and disappear. That was a choice he had been forced to make. And he decided not to make Satoko the sister of a murderer. If that was the case, then it must have been an unspeakably bitter decision. With the money he'd saved, wanting to save Satoko, see Satoko happy, he had to use it to make her sad. And he used the savings, disappeared to Tokyo if the rumors were true. Was that how Satoshi disappeared? I don't know. The guy Ushi seems to think that way though. Ushi. Had he been slowly driven into a corner by that repulsive man's pig-headed pursuit? The circumstantial evidence is all there, but I think your deduction is wrong. He caught some crazy drug addict somewhere in the preference, and he apparently turned himself in for the crime. That was right. The deviant had confessed, and the incident was resolved. They said he really was just a crazy person, and he had no ties in Himizawa, and no relationship with Satoshi, of course. I mean, I have a pretty hard time believing the guy will lie in Satoshi's place. You couldn't just arbitrarily decide like that. You never know where or how humans are tied together. That guy took the blame, and it was the perfect crime. Of course, it really was a perfect crime. There would have been no reason for Satoshi to vanish. Plus, I don't think Satoshi has the kind of money to run away. The day he withdrew his savings, no matter how I tell this, nobody believes me, but that stuffed animal he said he was going to buy for Satoko, it was gone from the display sold. It must have been Satoshi. Oh, wait a minute, if he didn't use the money to flee and bought the stuffed animal instead, he would have gone back to Satoko, wouldn't he? It seemed unbelievable he would buy it and then disappear without having given it to her. Yeah, so now I don't know what happened. It would be one thing if he had the money, but if he used all his savings, he'd be completely broke. You can't live a life on the run without money in this world. I didn't get it. After all, I was understanding Satoshi less and less. The two of us fell silent. I couldn't remember how we even got on this topic. I wonder how much that thingy costed that you can run away with that amount of money. And you can actually sustain yourself. Sorry, I think we got off topic. Satoko. Right, don't worry. I actually already invited her. Huh? Oh, you serious? When everyone went to the shrine to prepare for the festival, we started talking about getting Satoko to the festival itself. So then I used the phone and the assembly hall to invite her. Uncle was acting pretty distant and didn't care at all. But in any case, we got the okay from him. We decided to all meet up and go together tomorrow. You okay with that, Satoshi? Stupid, I'm not Satoshi. I was a little relieved. I hadn't needed to make the stupid call. Satoko had already been invited to the festival, and not in a way that smelled of blood. A way to leave her uncle alone to create time for me to kill him. They purely wanted Satoko to enjoy herself, so they invited her. In the end it was the same, but I was happy for the slight difference. Sorry, I guess I needed to call then. First yesterday, now today. Sorry for saying such weird things. Just forget about it. No, I'm the one who should apologize. Using it like that isn't like me. I'm really sorry. We apologized to each other for a little bit. Alright, I'll be going now. Good night. What did you have to do? As if interrupting our plan was, Mion struck straight where it hurt. Or is it like with Satoshi? Where you can't say. Stupid. I keep telling you I'm not Satoshi. Yeah, I know that. I deflected her with a response that wasn't really an answer. Mion didn't hound me anymore after that. Alright, this time for real, good night. I don't know why you're giving me the same phone call Satoshi did, but yeah, never mind. I'm sorry, good night. I'm hanging up. Click. Satoshi Hojo, just who are you? I scolded you, scorned you as a coward who ran away finding his sister. I always thought you didn't have the right to call yourself her Nini, but now I didn't know what to think. But Yoshida-sama's curse on the 4th year, their aunt's death and Satoshi's disappearance, and now me trying to carry out Yoshida-sama's curse on the 5th. Oddly enough, what I was going to do overlapped perfectly with Satoshi the day before the curse. No, that wasn't all. If we start back from Satoshi being abused, then I've only overlapped with Satoshi for days already. When I talked to Mion before, she asked me if I was Satoshi. If that was the first impression a third party like Mion got, then it was probably true. Then as Satoshi has accomplished, I would succeed in the murder. But that was the exact extent to which we overlapped. I was far calmer than Satoshi and more calculating. I could actually grow more calmer the more enthusiastic I became. That's why I wasn't that's why I wouldn't follow in Satoshi's footsteps. I would snip him cleanly out of the world and then get our peaceful life back. Does that mean I'm gonna be demoted in a way? So I'm gonna know what that means now. Maybe Satoshi had been with me ever since I chose to use Satoshi's bat as my weapon. No, maybe even longer than that. When I decided I'd be her Nini, maybe Satoshi had been resided within me too. Satoshi, are you really a coward? Or are you her true Nini even now? The kind worthy of Satoku's love? I've never met him, I've never spoken to him, and didn't even know his face, and yet I felt so connected to him. I never felt that way before. Higurashi when they cry? Higurashi when they cry. What's the tips? I don't know. What would they be about? I don't know either. Let's see, tips. Put the attention of those on the housewife's sort of instance. Oh yeah. Housewife. Possessed. Made your choice without looking back. Oh? There's only one. Oh, it's only one thingy. For the attention of those on the housewife's slaughter incident case. And there's 2 tips. July 1982. Akinomiya Police Station, First Investigation Division. Chief, Taki Ashugi, Preference Police Headquarters for the Eradication of Drug-Related Crime, Shinobone Branch Head. Regarding incident, designated an undercover investigation. The message is to inform you that a section of the testimony recorded of an incident under the police headquarters jurisdiction has been found that is thought to be related to the undercover investigation of the incident in question, Akinomiya Police Station, Umezawa Village housewife slaughter incident. During the investigation of suspect blah blah blah, who was arrested for possession of illegal drug, there was testimony related to the crime in question, and as a part of it, we learned that the crime had information only he could have known. Therefore, this record of testimony duplicate attached will be provided to you. If this testimonial is to be believed, then there is an extremely high chance that suspect blank blank was the culprit behind this incident in question. In addition, an investigator on the case received this report and inquired as to the incident with the Akinomiya Police Station, with the responsible party at the Akinomiya Police Station who responded to the designation undercover investigation announced by the Preference Police General Direction of July 1st, 1982, Oshima Fusikani B1112 or B112. Misunderstood and did not explain the incident's existence to the head investigator on the case properly. Because of this, the case's head investigator was not aware of the importance of the testimony as it related to the incident, related to the case in question, and as a result was negligent when combining the scene. We apologize for having left it in the dark until now. In addition, there is a post-script stating that the suspect died while in confinement yesterday on X-XXX. Yes. The drunk guy. Oh, the drug addict. Anyway, yeah, that should be for this time. I guess I'm gonna kill uncle next time. So yeah, bye bye.